Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Jungle Show. Today, we're here to talk more about the SEC schedule and the full Auburn men's basketball schedule for this upcoming season. We're going to lay it out and give out some crazy predictions and talk about a few of the games and some of the other schedules outside of Auburn around the SEC to get ready for basketball season. All that and more next on the Jungle Show. Welcome back again to another edition, another week of Friday at 6. We are here for the Jungle Show, back again live. Last week was pre recorded. Talked about Yohan Trayor. That was a fun episode to do. And we will continue doing our player preview series next week. We got two more guys left. We got Chance Westry and Trey Donaldson. But this week, we had the news earlier in the week about the schedule. The full schedule is out, including the SEC schedule for all the SEC schools, including Auburn. And we are here to discuss it and go over it and make wild, crazy predictions and accusations. In football season, we're here to talk about basketball, just like we do 52 weeks out of the year. And to do that, I brought in my dad and co-host again. Dad, I'm excited for this one. I've been waiting for this schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's fun to look at the SEC schedule for Auburn and some of the other teams out there. I'm looking at you, SEC. You must think Will Wade's still at LSU.
Do you want to start with that?
Hate LSU, and it's funny.
Because
read their opening few games of the LSU schedule.
We're going to talk all about the Auburn schedule. We're going to go through it, not just the SEC schedule, the whole thing, the whole shebang. Talk about what days games are, what are some big games, what are some big predictions that we got. But you noted to me right when the schedule came out that I think our schedule is tough. I think we got a tougher schedule than we did last year.
Tough closing stretch on it. That's for sure.
Especially the back end of the schedule. I think it's tough. You pointed out a team schedule to me that came out. LSU, so the implosion of LSU, all their decommits, all their transfers with Will Wade getting fired and Will Wade leaving. Yohan Trayor comes to Auburn. We talked about that last week in the pre-recorded show.
Excited.
Thanks,
exciting. Absolutely. Big time.
So you pointed out to me their opening SEC schedule, and I'm just going to read off the first 8 games, maybe?
Yeah. I think that's
I'm going to read off until we get to the SEC Big 12 Challenge, which the SEC Big 12 Challenge is on January 28th. Let me read all here. Arkansas, to start us off.
That's a tough start for you, LSU.
They go to Kentucky, to Texas A&M. Texas A&M's a good team. They're not a Kentucky or Arkansas, but they're a good team. Florida at home. That's probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
They go to Tuscaloosa at Alabama.
Yep.
They have Auburn at home.
Yep.
They have Tennessee at home. I mean, this is brutal. And then they go to Arkansas.
All right, so we before the show tonight, we kind of put teams and kind of where they stood in the conference and the upper tier, and this is all guessing.
Yeah.
From what we think, the upper tier is Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee, and Arkansas. They play Arkansas twice in that group of games. They play Kentucky, Auburn, and Tennessee. Yeah. Oh, and then the next tier down is Alabama, and they play them too in that set of games. I'm convinced that the SEC still thinks Will Wade is there and is still trying to punish him. And it's hilarious. I mean, had I seen that schedule come out for us, I'd have been like, oh my God, what do we do?
They hate Bruce Pearl. Yeah.
Ours is tough, but man, they could be 0-7 or 0-8.
Yeah. Yeah,
to start the SEC.
I think the best case scenario, and look, their SEC Big 12 challenge, they have Texas Tech. That's a
good team.
Good. They're really good.
It's a perennial good team now.
And then they go to Missouri, and then they get Alabama at home. So I mean, they legitimately could start that little stretch 2-8.
Yeah,
2-9, something like that. I think
Absolutely.
Florida could be a win in Baton Rouge. Maybe.
Yeah, we don't
Florida's
know.
A really good team.
Yeah,
Colin Castleton is back. I think they win at Missouri. Maybe. I don't know.
I just saw that opening few games, and I was like,
brutal.
Dang it,
But good thing this is not an LSU show.
No, it is not.
We're not here to talk about LSU. We're here to talk about the Auburn Tigers. And look, I like the schedule. I think it challenges us, especially like you said, on the back end of the schedule, where it does get tougher, not just the opponents, but where you're playing these opponents.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a good way to ease into the schedule, unlike LSU's.
Yeah, and it also allows us to cut the nets down on top of Tennessee that final Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's become a tradition now.
Yes, it is.
We're going to
tradition unlike any other.
Yeah. It's either South Carolina or it's Tennessee.
Yeah. I'm good with it being Tennessee.
Yeah, me too. So before we talk about the SEC schedule, I'm going to kind of lay out and get your thoughts on the non-conference schedule.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting.
Hey, Tom.
Where we're playing this game, Tom, he's downstairs. Gotta love them. They're all listening to this.
Thomas.
So starting off with the exhibition game against UAH.
I think we win that one.
Arena. Well, if we don't,
I don't think it matters, to be honest with you, because
no. Then George Mason is the opening game on November 7th. That's a Monday at home, of course. And then home against USF, the return of that home and home that we went to South Florida last year.
We struggled, by the way, with USF down there.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know who they're bringing back. They had that really good point guard.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's back.
Then Winthrop comes to that's technically part of the Cancun Challenge, but it will be in Neville Arena. It's a non-bracketed game.
What? We're playing wait a minute. We're playing the Cancun Challenge in Neville Arena? Seriously?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. That's
By the way, Winthrop's usually a pretty good team.
No, that's a tournament type of team.
They're a tournament team, but we're playing the Cancun Challenge in Auburn.
And then you play another tournament team, not saying like they're making runs in the tournament, but Texas Southern comes to Auburn. They've made the tournament multiple times in the past few years. So you haven't played a road game yet.
Yeah.
Then you go to Cancun, Mexico, and play against Bradley on November 22nd.
Nothing. I mean, they used to be pretty good years ago.
Either the winner or loser, of course, of Northwestern or Liberty in the second game of that challenge.
Liberty a few years ago made a run in the NCAA tournament just a couple of years ago. So
and Northwestern's a Big Ten team.
Northwestern's Big Ten.
That's not a wash away. Yeah.
No, that's a so wait a minute. Let me make sure I understand this. We played the first game of the Cancun Challenge in Auburn. And then we play another team that's not a part of the Cancun Challenge in Auburn, and then we go to Cancun.
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. But all right.
I think it has.
I still think
when it came out, when they were announcing the teams and the schedule for the Cancun Challenge, like not Auburn, but the sponsor of the tournament, I get the preseason tournament, I guess. I think it had a lot to do with fear of travel and in these type of and money, but. You take a home tournament game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after the Cancun Challenge, you then come back home right after Thanksgiving to play against St. Louis, again returning that home and home.
That was such a good game last year.
That was an incredible game last year, playing against Yuri Collins.
They had that point guard.
He led the country in assists last year.
Yeah, pretty good player.
And then again, another home game, kind of a tune-up game. Against Colgate. I don't know the thoughts about playing against a toothpaste. Yeah.
At least their teeth will be clean. Didn't we go to that one year when they played Colgate in Neville Arena?
A few years ago.
and we
maybe the
just
Final Four year.
out athleted them at every position.
Of course, yeah.
It's an Ivy League school.
So then you go to Atlanta to then play another neutral site game against Memphis, playing against them again after playing them in the COVID year where Alan Flanagan kind of tore them apart.
It's like football playing Clemson. It seems like every year.
Play Memphis
every year all the time. At least we're not having to go to Memphis.
Yeah,
stuff going on in Memphis right now.
Bad. No, have you seen that basketball floor?
Yeah, it's weird looking.
It's like
it's weird.
Gray.
It's not as weird as Oregon's, but it's weird looking.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
So back to Neville Arena on December 14th for another tune-up game against Georgia State. Again, not a washover. Should have learned that from football last year. They are not a washover. Georgia State, we have to watch out for them. Okay.
They made the tournament that one year, and the coach had a broken leg or something and fell off his stool.
Yeah, after his son made a buzzer beater.
Yeah. It's a great story. I remember
one of the best moments of
that whole tournament. Yeah.
So at this point, you've not played a true road game. You come home and you play Georgia State, and then you go out west. You play two straight true road games against USC and Washington.
And that Washington game's a return trip.
Yeah,
because they came here Final Four year.
19,
and then their bus caught on fire in Montgomery.
It did.
They had a big guy that year that was pretty good, and we just destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
So you go back to back on the West Coast. USC, who we don't know anything about.
They've had a Mobley for the past 4 or 5 years, so
because they hired his dad.
Yes, because
they've
been
Mobley's
good.
Daddy.
Yeah, but I don't know. Evan Mobley and Isaiah Mobley are now in Cleveland. So
I don't know if they're any good, but that's a long ways away. You get a chance to play a true road game.
Yeah,
they'll have a home crowd there. It'll be a big game for them. Go up to Washington. We know nothing about them except it's a long ways away from home.
Yeah,
and a chance to play in somebody else's arena.
For sure.
And then come home and start the SEC slate.
Yeah. So you come back home on this is right after Christmas. You go to Washington on December 21st.
Okay.
So and then your next game is a week later on December 28th. That Wednesday night, home against Florida. And Florida is a team that a lot of people are interested in. They hired the new coach. They hired
Bruce's friend.
What's his name? Todd something.
Yeah, Todd.
It'll come to me in a second.
Yeah, keep going. They still have Castleton.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait to watch. Because last year Walker against Castleton, that was kind of an interesting dynamic. This is going to be a completely different dynamic. No matter who's on the floor, whether it's Broome, Cardwell, Traore, Jalen Williams, those guys. I think we're going to try and outrun him, out-quickness him, get him away from the ball, get him away from the play. I'm excited for that. That's a good opening game. Then you go to Athens.
His name, by the way, is Todd Golden.
That's
the Bruce Pearl disciple. Good guy. Really good coach. He was out at San Francisco last year.
That's right. Made the tournament.
Yep.
All right. So then a week later on that Wednesday, you go to Athens and play against a Georgia team, which I expect Katie Johnson again to go for 70 points, as he should.
Yep.
Against that team. And then you come home on that Saturday and play probably the biggest home game
in a while.
In a long time, at least since the Kentucky game last year.
In a while, yeah.
This is huge. You play against Arkansas at home on January 7th. Yeah.
Saturday, that's probably midday Saturday on TV. Mm-hmm. I wish they'd do it as a night game Saturday, but people will be camped out in front of Neville Arena that Friday night. Arkansas is going to be very good.
Extremely good.
They're a really good team. He's done a great job recruiting. We're in recruiting battles with him all the time. They're going to be really good.
Yeah, Eric Musselman knows how to coach that team.
And you get a chance to take them on at home and get them back for a game that you should have won in Bud Walton last year.
Exactly. Getting them back from last year should be a priority after the way that game ended.
Yeah.
With us being number one, going over there without Zeb Jasper.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. That's a good idea.
Wendell, just take it to the bucket, dude.
Then
just take it to the bucket.
Okay, we're not
take
going
it
to
to
talk
the
about that
bucket.
game. So right after the Arkansas week, then that next week you play the two Mississippi teams. You get Ole Miss in Oxford, and then Mississippi State at home
on a Saturday.
Mississippi State will want to beat you.
Yeah,
it's a team that wants to beat you. Really,
they're going to feel
bad.
the same way that we're feeling about Arkansas because what we did to them when they got it to overtime, and then KD Johnson said, "I don't really want to lose this game."
Yeah,
and scored 12 in overtime. So yeah,
that's right. Then next week you play LSU in the midweek in Baton Rouge. That's always a tough place to play. Did not play them but once last year. It was the first game last year,
and just pummeled them.
They literally killed them. That was a Walker Kessler, domination type of game, triple double game. That was a fun game to watch. But you go to Baton Rouge, and then that Saturday you go to Columbia, South Carolina to play the Gamecocks.
New coach, number one player in the country, switched from Carolina to South Carolina.
Yeah.
So he went from North Carolina to South Carolina.
Yeah.
So I imagine he's a guy that's going to play a significant role in that
40
team.
minutes. Yeah.
And the coach is a guy that took Chattanooga, my alma mater, to the NCAA tournament last year, and I think he's a really good coach. Really good coach.
That's kind of a wild
card. Gigi's a really good player.
Yeah, Gigi Jackson is the real deal. He's legit. That's a wild card type of team, of course, but
Yeah.
So that next week after Wednesday, January 25th, you play Texas A&M at home. Texas A&M was a team that you played once in the regular season last year, and then they kicked you out of the first round of the SEC tournament. That's a game that you need to be circled, especially KD Johnson.
KD Johnson, I need you to make more than one shot. That's at home, KD.
Yeah.
You got them in Neville Arena. I need you to make some outside looks in that game.
Yeah. So, but that Saturday is the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Of course, we've known this game for longer than we've known the SEC schedule. Going to Morgantown, West Virginia, to play against the Mountaineers in Press, Virginia.
That's always tough.
Oh,
Huggins,
of course.
Huggins will press
That's
you.
Any Big 12 team. Yeah.
Get in your shirt. And West Virginia is a tough place to play. That is going to be a dogfight.
I think we're going to press them. I think we should press them.
Maybe so. Press the pressing.
Press the presser.
Press the presser.
That's how you do it. Yep. So that next week, of course, after you go to Morgantown, you go home to play against Georgia in the midweek. Again, KD, you need 70 plus because that's a personal type of game for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect nothing less from him and from that team. That Georgia is. I don't know what they.
I don't know what to expect from Georgia.
They hired Mike White. I don't know what
they hired. The Florida coach, for goodness sake. What? I mean, he's okay, I guess, but
I don't know what to expect from them.
I don't know that they've got any players. I mean, they have to. Surely, what he's told them is, I'm going to come in and put a fence around Georgia and not allow Bruce Pearl to come in here and grab players. And he's in for a dogfight. And winning these games is important to making sure that you show up in Georgia and can pull players out of the high school ranks in Georgia.
Yeah.
Because that's where we live.
Those are big games. Exactly. Yeah. That's where you've lived for the past 4 or 5 years, and you've piped these players into the NBA. So,
yeah.
So, but that Saturday, you travel up to Knoxville to play
Always
Tennessee.
A big game when Bruce Pearl.
Of course, Thompson Bowling Arena is a big building, and that's a tough place to play.
18,000.
And they love playing against Bruce Pearl. And Bruce is 6-1 against them.
And the kid last year. Their shooter's back. The foreign name, I don't remember. Yes.
Yep.
He's back. He can light it up.
No, that's a real good team. They are a
Fun to
tier 1
watch.
SEC team. We'll talk about the tiers here in a second, but they are a tier 1 SEC team.
Mm-hmm.
Then that next week, I'm excited about that next week. You go to College Station, where we haven't been since the COVID year, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We were there, and that's where Justin Powell got his concussion.
Again, KD, this is the team that you went 0-14 against.
He got to be better.
Please be better.
He's got to be better.
He will.
Yeah. And then
February 11th.
For like the first time ever, at least in my memory, you get a Saturday game at home against a team from across the state.
I literally don't know that and I'd like if somebody knows, let us know. I do not remember playing Alabama at home on a Saturday since I've been watching.
Or even in Tuscaloosa on a Saturday.
It's usually a midweek game.
They're always midweek games.
Saturday, February 11th, Alabama in Neville Arena. That place ought to be jumping.
Oh man,
jumping! You may want to mortgage your house now to get that ticket.
No kidding,
because it's going to cost a lot.
So that next week is a very interesting week. You get Missouri at home, and nobody knows about Missouri. I don't know a thing about
I don't either,
the Tigers. Like, that's such a wild card team. I think they're a lower tier SEC team, but
we put them in the lower tier, but I don't know.
I don't have any idea.
As the season goes, obviously, you'll get better analysis from us as we are able to watch some of these other teams
play. Yeah. No, I agree. And then that Saturday, you go to Nashville to play Vanderbilt. And look, I love Jerry Stackhouse. Of course, I'm a Carolina guy. It was fun to watch at Carolina. Yeah. I love Stackhouse. Does he have control? Look, Scottie Pippen Jr. was the reason that team won a lot of the games last year. He's on the Lakers.
Yeah.
He's not there anymore.
No.
What is this year's going to be really telling for Jerry Stackhouse and his future at Vandy?
That's a Saturday afternoon in Nashville. If you've never been to Memorial Gym before, so I've been there and seen games, and to be honest with you, that may be the game that I look to get tickets for, because as all Auburn fans know, it's easier to get tickets for road games than it is to get them for home games.
Absolutely.
So we may get tickets and go to that one, but just make sure you get a picture of where your seats are going to be, because you can literally be behind a beam, a staircase, and not be able to see the floor. That gym is horrible.
Yeah, and it's so
but it should be easy to get tickets to that game.
Easier than any game in Neville Arena, I'll tell you that. That started last year.
Yeah.
So, and then the next week is even weirder.
Here's where we start the stretch.
Yeah, this is where you start the stretch, where it's like, okay, this is the end of the year. This is how you prepare for the SEC tournament and for the NCAA tournament. You go on this brutal stretch where you're not just playing the top tier teams to finish it off, but you're playing them away from home. You're playing two of them away from home.
So we get Ole Miss at home.
Yes.
On that Wednesday midweek game.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to Kentucky, to Alabama, and get Tennessee at home on a Saturday to close the year out.
Yeah.
But those three, because we put Alabama below the top tier, but a lot of people would argue they're pretty dang good.
No, Alabama's
they're gonna be good.
If not they're tier 1, then I think they're by themselves at tier 2, and that's where I would put them right now without watching them play. Of course, I think Brandon Miller, Quinterly's back. That team, that Bediako's back. Juwan Gary's back. Like that team is very, very good, very, very talented. I think they just need to perform.
And we play them right after we go to Rock.
I just got to see them. But yeah, you're talking about a stretch where you play Ole Miss on that second
midweek,
second to last midweek.
Yep.
And
then you play Kentucky and
Lexington,
Rock on Saturday.
to Tuscaloosa
midweek,
and Tennessee.
at home.
So that's a tough end of that schedule, and that's honestly, there's going to be a lot of people that look at that and go, "Yeah, 0-3." There's going to be a lot of people that look at that, yeah, 3-0, and a lot of people that look at that completely. You can look at that any way that you want because there's valid reasons to think that you could win or lose all three of those final games. So that's what we're going to do real quick before we talk about. Let's talk about the tiers first of SEC teams as we know right now, and then we'll kind of get into some predictions. Does that sound good?
Hang on. Yeah. Yes, that's fine.
So talking about tiering the SEC teams, I think one of the things you got to think about when you're trying to tier these teams, only team we've watched is Auburn.
Yeah,
I watched a little bit of Kentucky when they were playing the Bahamas because they were on SEC Network,
and they look good.
They look really good.
I don't know if they were playing a high school team like we did the first game, but they look good.
Yes, exactly. But Alabama also went to Spain and they played some really good teams and won some and lost some. Like we didn't see them. So I've only seen Auburn, and yes, I saw Auburn in early August. And
that was so cool.
And I saw a little bit of Kentucky just right after.
Yeah.
So this is not like a standings for.
No, it's kind of where we think.
Where we think right now.
What's coming back? What they have, that sort of thing.
So I think there's 4 teams in tier 1. I think there's an argument for them to be 5. Which is why I think there's only 1 team in tier 2. I think it's a separate tier because I think it's just below the tier 1, but well above the teams in tier 3. So I think the top 4 in the tier 1 category, and I'm gonna place them in the order that I think they are right now. I think Kentucky's number 1. I think Kentucky will end up being second or third in the preseason rankings behind North Carolina or maybe Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm.
They have Oscar Tshiebwe coming back. They have Jacob Toppin coming back. They have an unbelievable group of freshmen. They've got – Jacob Toppin's their first senior in years.
In a while. Yeah, in a while.
In years.
Yeah.
So the value of him coming back, the value of obviously the player of the year and Oscar Tshiebwe coming back.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That's the best team in the SEC right now. Do I say that they're going to beat us in Lexington? No, well, probably, but no, I didn't say that yet. I think Kentucky's tier 1. I think Arkansas is tier 2 or the second. I don't, of course, I think I think the top 5 teams in the SEC are going to be ranked to start the year.
Yep. Kentucky 1, Arkansas 2.
I think Arkansas is number 2 as of right now. Their freshman class is unbelievable.
There's no doubt.
They've got some studs returning. They've got the schedule. If you go look at their schedule, they've got a layout. Their toughest game, I think, is at Auburn.
At Auburn early on.
Yeah, they've got it laid out for themselves. I think they've got a good foundation there. Musselman's a good coach. I think Auburn is 3rd. And a lot of people would argue with me saying Tennessee is 3rd and Auburn's 4th, but I think Alabama and Tennessee are closer than Auburn and Tennessee are.
Yeah, okay.
I think Auburn, the value that it returns in the backcourt versus the value that Tennessee returns in the backcourt, which is a lot with Vescovi coming back.
Is the little kid with braids coming back?
What?
The little point guard with braids that was always 9,000 miles an hour?
Oh, no. He's in the NBA.
No, not the kid who had the little short kid who wore the pigtails. Lighter skinned brother. He came off the bench last year and played point guard, and he was always at 9,000 miles an hour.
I don't know.
I don't know his name.
I don't know who you're.
Keep going. You're right.
I don't know. That's my fault.
He was very good.
But I do think the value of our backcourt returning versus their backcourt returning is favorable towards Auburn. And that has nothing against what Tennessee has. I think they're the fourth best team in the SEC right now. But I do put Auburn ahead of them. I think Tennessee has some really good forwards. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, who Auburn wanted, it will be their starting forward. Look, that's not a washover. We play them twice. I cannot wait for those two games. Both on Saturdays. Both we go to them and then they come to us. The last game of the season for that. Look, that's a really good team.
Hatfield's
they're
not
fourth.
Hatfield's not there. Hatfield's at Louisville.
He transferred from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I was getting confused. I think Alabama is in its own tier at tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to put them in tier 1 because they'll blow their heads up. They are a very good team. They had a very good class, and they have Javon Quinterly and Bediako and Jawan Gary. All those guys are returning. That's a very good team. That's a very good team.
Yep.
And then I don't even know who I had at tier 3.
Obviously, so tier 3 is this, and we don't have to rank them. Just we had Florida, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and A&M.
Yes, I think that's perfect. And then you put Georgia, and Vandy, and Missouri,
and LSU,
at the bottom.
In the bottom tier.
Yeah,
I think that's appropriate.
I think that's perfect. So, looking at Auburn's SEC schedule, and we'll wrap it up right after this. Looking at the Auburn SEC schedule, tell me your record prediction as of right now, and with the losses, tell me which loss and why.
All right, you ready? Yeah. I think they go 14-4. Mm-hmm. I think they lose to Tennessee up there on a Saturday. I think that's one of the losses. I think that I think going to Alabama and to Kentucky are probably 2 straight. Mm-hmm. That's 2 and 3. And I think there's another loss in there somewhere where somebody goes 0-14 shooting. And look, Arkansas coming to Auburn is a big game, and I got that as a win in my head, but that very easily could be a loss.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I wanted to say 15-3, but there's always a game in there where you go, okay,
we should have lost.
Somebody's sick, somebody's not there, somebody gets hurt for a game, or somebody just can't throw it in an ocean standing in a boat.
Yeah.
And we've seen all of that happen.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it right on the thing. I think both of the final 2 away games at Tuscaloosa and at Kentucky, at Kentucky's first and then at Tuscaloosa, I think both of those being back-to-back just makes that worse towards the very end of the year.
It makes it bad.
And I think we drop both of those. I think we go 1-2 in that final 3 with that win being against Tennessee in the last game of the year. I think there's definitely another loss. It kills me to say to lose at Tennessee. I think it's more likely you lose in College Station or lose in Columbia against South Carolina than you lose in Knoxville, but probably there. And again, that could be one of the games that you just something happens. Texas A&M is good enough to beat you in College Station. South Carolina,
they're good enough to beat you in Tampa Bay too.
Yeah.
So I think if we're 13-5 to 15-3, I think either way I think that gives you some playroom. I don't think it's an SEC regular season championship at that record though, especially losing the two out of the last 3 games. I think we'll be in the race up until that final week or so. And I think it's probably I think you would be hard pressed to pick anybody but Kentucky to win the SEC.
That's what I said. Looking at Kentucky's schedule as well, I was like, it's hard to find 3 losses in that schedule, especially since they play Auburn at home, and I'm pretty sure they only play Tennessee at home as well. And that's my other one that I would have said. So they got it. Kentucky's got a little easier than we do, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. But we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. This was a good little preview. We'll do a lot of fun stuff, a lot of previews before we hit basketball season in November. Of course, we got a lot of
coming
time,
soon.
but we got to get through this football
It's
stuff
coming.
first. Got to
It's
get through
coming.
football first.
The players were at the football game last week taking their shirts off, or Dylan was taking his shirt off. And I guess if I was built like Dylan, I'd take my shirt off too. But
And I don't think I'd wear a shirt if I was built like that.
yeah, I'd walk around without a shirt on all the time. So, gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Gonna be a fun year. No matter
We'll go
what, it's
ahead.
gonna be a fun year.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead. Next week will be the continuation of the Auburn player preview series.
Let's do
Chance Westry. We'll do Chance Westry next week, then Trey Donaldson the next, and then we'll have some fun with this. We'll maybe have some guests on. We'll have some, we'll play around with the show before, because we got a while before basketball season, but it is coming sooner rather than later. So, But we'll go ahead and get out of here. If you want to find us on Twitter, he is at War Eagle, or he is at War Eagle Hoops. It's reversed. I am at Gray Oldenburg, or you can find all the amazing stuff on auburndaily.com or at the Auburn Daily. It has changed from
Twitter handle changed on me
at the Auburn Daily. But we'll go ahead and get out of here until next week. War Eagle.